Hello, how's it going? How are you? Today we are going to talk about how to obtain Spanish nationality in 2 years. So allow me, I feel like I will give you this explanation without much rush, but it will be brief, I promise. Well, the first thing you need to obtain your Spanish nationality in just 2 years is to be Ibero-American. Well, let's start with the essentials. The essential thing with which you can obtain your Spanish nationality in 2 years is to be Ibero-American or from Andorra, the Philippines, Portugal, Equatorial Guinea, or to be of Sahrawi origin. Only if you find yourself in one of these cases and your primary or original nationality is from one of these countries, then you can take advantage of the benefit of acquiring your Spanish nationality in 2 years. Yes. Having said this, it should be clarified that it is not actually acquiring nationality in 2 years, but rather 2 years of residence in Spain that will be required for you to be able to apply for nationality. But then in 2 years you can apply for it, but it's not realistic to think that you will have it in 2 years, because after applying you then have to wait for the Ministry of Justice to respond, and then you have to wait to complete the oath process. If you don't know what that is, we have videos on our channel explaining each of these stages. In the description box you will find the links, or you can go to our channel and you will find them there. Having clarified that, we move on to clarify another thing, which are basically the requirements you will need to meet in those 2 years. This is also extremely important because it's not just about obtaining your nationality in 2 years. It's about what you need to do in those 2 years to be able to apply for your nationality. Basically, you will need to have had residency in Spain legally. This means having a residence permit approved by an immigration office, approved by the Spanish government. Residence permit, just as it is. A stay permit will not suffice, it has to be a residence permit. A situation of tolerance because you have an asylum application in process will not suffice either, because that is neither residence nor stay, it is merely a situation of tolerance. So it has to be a residence permit. If you have it, you will be fulfilling that first requirement of legal residency. Now that residency, that 2-year period they will evaluate, must also be continuous. So you need legal residency and it needs to be continuous. Continuous basically means that you have never lost Spain as your main residence. We usually recommend not being out of the country for more than 3 months, whether continuous or discontinuous during those 2 years. And the mystery of justice is the criterion that also applies when it comes to determining whether it causes more problems or not. If there are no absences of more than 3 months, whether continuous or discontinuous, meaning they add up. If you left this year for 2 weeks and the next year for 2.5 months, then you would meet the 3-month requirement. The time is added up over that entire 2-year period. If the Ministry of the Interior sees that there is a gap of more than 3 months, it is likely that they will issue a request to you, asking you for proof that despite such a prolonged absence, your main residence would still be Spain. And well, this is often difficult to prove. So, to avoid problems, keep in mind that the maximum time is 3 months, whether continuous or discontinuous, within that 2-year period that they will evaluate you on. We have thus covered legal residence and continuous residence. Let's move on to the third. There are 4 in total. The third requirement for that 2-year period is that it must have been immediately prior to the application. That is to say, if you previously had legal residence in Spain but left for more than 3 months or lost that status of main residence, Spain lost that status because you moved abroad, then all that time period before your departure, when Spain ceased to be your main residence, you will have lost it for the purposes of applying for nationality of that antiquity. It will be of no use to you, and it will start counting from 0 from the moment you return to Spain, and the count resumes again without you interrupting it, without you leaving Spain for more than those 3 months again, and the count will resume. But keep in mind that if you left Spain for more than 3 months, if you do it again, it will interrupt once more, and as long as you leave for more than 3 months, it will be interrupted and you will never reach the 2-year period. So it's very important that during those 2 years you take care of that. No more than 3 months of continuous or discontinuous absences. Well, but specifically this requirement, remember, is residence immediately prior to the application. That means they will only evaluate the 2 years immediately preceding to your nationality application submission. In those 2 years, if you, for example, apply for nationality today, in February 2025, then they will check that you meet those requirements that I am telling you here, which are 3. and I have one more to explain. They will evaluate that you meet them from February 2023 to February 2025, which are the last 2 years. All the time before that will not matter to them at all. Which means that if you have been residing legally in Spain for 50 years, but you broke that dumb rule of not having left for more than 3 months or of not maintaining Spain as your main residence, then those 50 years will mean nothing to the Ministry of Justice. What matters to them is that the requirements have been met in the last 2 years. Everything else will not matter to them. So we have continuous legal residence immediately prior to the application. And the fourth is having good civic conduct. This requirement is basically not having engaged in behaviors that would result in a criminal or police record, neither in Spain nor in the countries where you have previously resided. Therefore, they will ask you for a criminal record certificate from the countries where you have resided in the last 5 years before entering Spain. And the ones from Spain, they will check them on their own as long as you give them authorization. There's no need to present a certificate from Spain. They will check it. What is necessary, however, is to have obviously met the requirement of good civic conduct, which they will verify simply by reviewing those criminal record certificates that you provide from countries where you have been outside of Spain. Or, as I said, the Spanish ones, they will check them on their own without you providing them. They will look at them in their systems. It is the public administration after all. How do you submit that nationality application? On our channel, we even have a step-by-step guide on how to make that application. We will leave a link in the description box, or you can go look for it on our channel. The most important thing you need to keep in mind is that this application must be submitted online. Under no circumstances should you do it in person. It is possible by virtue of the law to even send it through a post office, but don't do it that way as it significantly delays the application. Do it online. If you are going to do it on your own with your digital identity, if you are going to hire a professional, then you don't have to, you just need to send them the documentation and they will take care of everything. But make sure this is done electronically. I understand that people really like the aspect of physical contact. It gives more confidence. If you are going to hire a professional, you can go to an office and all that, but please, you can do that in person if you want, but make sure your application is not done. In person, it should be electronic. Remember, we are legal in Spain, a firm specializing in immigration and nationality. By the way, I think I haven't introduced myself. I am Juan Daniel, Director of Legal in Spain, a firm specializing in immigration and nationality. We have years of experience with these matters, hundreds of positive reviews because we give our all in every case. If you want me to evaluate your situation to chart the best path towards your legal residency or nationality, or a member of my team, let me know. You can write to us in the description box. There is a link to contact us directly on WhatsApp. There is even a link where you can directly schedule a consultation. Most of these consultations are free, so take advantage of it. And something that is extremely attractive to our clients is our satisfaction guarantee, according to which if you do not obtain your nationality, then you do not pay us a cent. We cannot guarantee you a result because that will depend on the administration, but we can guarantee that if the result is not positive, we will refund all of your money. But we can guarantee that if the result is not positive and it is not related to you doing something reckless, causing a criminal record, or leaving without our recommendation for your case, you will discuss this with the advisor on the day of your appointment, but generally it works like this. If it is not your fault, we will refund all your money if it results in a denial. Although such denials are extremely rare. We have a 99% approval rate in our cases, so you can imagine. Let's continue then. Never submit it in person, always online via the internet. It will be much easier. It will be metadata tagged. You will have your case number and it will start progressing from the moment you submit it. The documents for this 2-year scenario are quite simple. There are 3 mandatory documents: a complete passport, all its pages from cover to cover, all of them. The passport must be completely complete. Make sure it is legible many times. Passport pages are often scanned in watermark mode, which doesn't look very good. So make sure the scan you do is absolutely legible. It is extremely important. Complete passport, birth certificate, either apostilled or legalized depending on the agreements your country is part of. It is usually apostilled. If it is not part of the apostille agreement, then it should be legalized or apostilled. And if it is not issued in Spanish, then it will also need to be translated. That translation cannot be done by Google Translate. It must be done by a translator authorized by the Spanish government. So also pay attention to that. Lastly, a criminal record certificate. Similarly, from your country of origin or from the countries where you have been in the last 5 years before entering Spain, it must be legalized or apostilled depending on the agreements, and if it is not issued in Spanish, it must be translated. This last document generally has a maximum validity of 3 months, and that's it, unless the document states otherwise. You can provide more documents if advisable, or not, depending on your personal situation. Again, take advantage of the free appointments we offer. Schedule yours if you meet the conditions, and we will be happy to tell you what is best for your specific case. After you submit your application, the Ministry of Justice, as of today, February 2025, with the latest files we have submitted, has generally taken about 4 to 6 months to resolve. There are specific cases, since they do not resolve in order of submission. Some cases take less time, others may take longer, but if we make a general average, it would be that they are currently taking 4 to 6 months. After nationality, remember that the matter of the oath comes next. Once the Ministry of Justice issues the resolution saying, okay, you meet the requirements, I grant you nationality. After that, you have to take the oath or pledge of nationality. We have a video explaining it, remember? At the civil registry, or it can even be done at a notary's office. This will take from weeks to months. So it's important that you are already scheduled in advance at the place where you are, so you know what comes after the resolution of the grant. If you do it with us, as I said, we will provide you with all that information and guide you from point A to point B. You can follow us on Instagram at Legal en Hispana, official o Citadel, also on all other networks at Alegal en Hispana. Thank you for your like, thank you for your comment, take care. I advise you to like and share this video with anyone you think might find it useful, and for heaven's sake, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe because the numbers of people who are not subscribed to our channel and our videos are alarming, so please subscribe. We need that boost to continue creating content daily and keep you hyper updated on immigration and nationality in Spain. Any specific questions, you know you can leave them in the comments and we try to respond to all. 1,000 thanks for watching us. Until next time.